This
session,
conference will now be recorded.
right? So we created the VPC in our region, and we created, with the VPC creation, what and all the default components which gets created, the route table of, then obviously the router will be there, and these two subnets when we created, and every subnets will follow this routing table via this router. So any communication will happen via this router. And also, what are the other default components like NACL, Network Access Control List, right? Then DHCP, other things. And we also notice that the 5 IP addresses the AWS reserves for these purposes, and we will not be, or in other words, we will not be able to, use these IP addresses, isn't it? So that is the reason. And we created two subnets, we divided the two subnets, and these two subnets by default were following the this route table, and this route table is the main route table which gets created in the beginning, that is called as the main route table. And after creating subnet, we discussed, and we created one Linux server, and we tried to connect from our laptop. So even after we downloaded the key pair everything, but we were unsuccessful. That is because this isolated network does not had a internet connectivity, or does not have the internet gateway. So we created the internet gateway here when we attached to the VPC, and then made an entry in the routing table. So only then this router allowed the connection coming from the www, that is world wide web, that is internet, and from the internet it will come to the, it will hit the internet gateway, and it will reach the router, and the router will look to the, oh, so we have the IGW connection, and then we can allow. So as per this request, it will send the request to this machine, and we were able to log in. And we also downloaded the Git software, which is this one. Okay. So today we are going to continue, and we are going to use another software which is very old, to connect from your Windows laptop to your EC2 machine. So today we are going to use PuTTY. Okay. So someone, you know, pronounce it as PuTTY, or someone pronounce it as PuTTY. Okay. But both are same. So we are going to use this PuTTY. In most of the laptops, it is pre-installed. So this is the PuTTY. So PuTTY, the abbreviation is pseudo user terminal type. Okay. So we are going to use this, right? Okay. So now let me log into my AWS management console, right? And just a second, while I enter the password, I'm going to stop the sharing screen. And guys, be careful, don't ever share your password with anyone, otherwise people may misuse your credentials, right? And I'm trying to log in. Just a second. Okay, so I have logged in successfully. Yes, so let me go to the EC2, and as you can see, my instances which I created yesterday, it is still running. Okay, so but please, you don't do this once. Whenever you are done with your testing, please select this instance and go to the instance state and terminate the instance. Okay, anyhow you are under free tier, but with free tier there are some restrictions, so the whole month you will not be given, so only 720 hours will be free. Okay, so just make sure a habit to terminate the instance whenever you are done with the testing. Okay, but for now let us copy this public IP addresses, because with the help of public IP only you will be able to connect. Okay, so I'm going to use the PuTTY software. So here I am going to use ec2-user the IP address, and connection type is SSH. Okay, and then we need to pass our key, right? So for that, can you see here there is a SSH option. Under SSH there is a auth section. Select this and browse. Okay, and select your all files, go to downloads and enter. Um, just a second. Or else before that, the another requirement by PuTTY is we need to generate the PPK key in order for us to connect from PuTTY. So let us load our key, go to downloads and select this, select all files and select this. Okay, and save private key. Okay, yes, and you can name it as sg.ppk, right? Save it, and that's it. Now again go back to the PuTTY and select type ac2-user type the IP address. Again go to this SSH, under SSH auth, browse. Yes, now you can see this is the icon, I mean a desktop with the hat. So that is your PPK key, and then click on open. Yes, so now you are able to logged in using PuTTY. So with PuTTY, this is a restriction. This imposes, it asks to create a PPK file. Okay, and you can log in, but both are same. In the backend we are going to connect to the same server here. So as we have, so I prefer personally to connect with git bash, because as we go further in DevOps, so we have to get familiar with the CLI commands. Okay, so better you always use git bash. The reason I have taught you PuTTY, because someone in the interview they may ask, or in hands-on tasks they may ask you to log in using PuTTY. So at that point of time you may find it difficult. So that is the reason I have told you like both the options to log into the same server. Okay, now so now I have logged into the server. Okay, so now you can connect to google.com and you can check yahoo.com. So you are getting a response, or you can check gmail.com also. So this is connected to the internet, so no issues, right? So perfectly fine. So perfectly fine. Now, but in some scenario, what will happen, that all the subnets cannot be public. Now, this instance, the subnet 1 and subnet 2 both are public system, I mean subnets. Why? Because both the subnets are now following the main route table. That is one thing. And this route table is having the route to the internet gateway. That means this subnet is exposed to the internet. So hence this subnet became public subnet. Okay, so this subnet became public subnet. Clear? So I'm going to make it green, isn't it? We have two subnets, so in that now both are green. Okay, so let me make it green only, because both are following the same routing table. So let me prove it to you. So again, go back to your AWS management console, go to your VPC and go to the subnets. So as you can see, my subnet 01 and my subnet 02 are the ones which I created yesterday. So now check the route table. So now I am checking my subnet 02. It is using RTB-0D8 ending with EDAA, which is having route to the internet gateway. Okay, so EDAA. Now again select this, go to the routing table. Again it is following the same route table. And as you see, click on this route table. This is the main route table. See here, under main column it says yes. So that means this is a main route table, and this route table is having the route to the outside internet via internet gateway. So that is the reason. For this reason, as both are following the same route table which is having the route to the internet gateway and the internet, that is why both the subnets are now public subnets. Okay, but in real time in organization we cannot have only public subnets, we need private subnet also. But why, how can we create a private subnet, right? How can we, because whenever you are creating it is following the same main route table. Okay, so to answer this question is, first step we have to create a another route table. So let us create that. So go to your route tables section under VPC, that is virtual private cloud. Click on create route table. Okay, and you can name it as my route table. Okay, and select the VPC, my VPC 1, and click on create route table. Here, as you can see, by default only the VPC connection is allowed. That's it. Okay. Now next what you have to do you need to create, now you have two options. The one option is, either if my requirement only to have two subnets, I can make one private, anyone, either subnet 1 or subnet 2. Okay, by telling the subnet to follow the another routing table which we created. So let me first create. Okay, so I will just create a private routing table. Okay, so private routing table I will create, right? So I have named it as my private routing table. Here also it will have the same thing, destination and target. So here I will just tell my VPC, that is 10.0.0.20, sorry, 10.0.0/20 and local. That means only inside VPC it can access. So that only that information I will provide here. Okay. Now what I will do, I will tell this subnet or this subnet to follow the second private routing table which I recently created. That is one option. Other option is I can create one more new subnet and I can make it private by telling it to follow the again private routing table. Okay, so how to do that? First let us explore the first option. So now I am going to select subnet 2, because if you see here I have already created an instance which is in subnet 1. So let me go to the EC2, that is server section, EC2 instances. Now if you select this, you will get an under networking, you will get that option. The VPC is my VPC and subnet is my subnet 01. Now I am going to do my subnet 02 as private first, and then I am going to create my subnet 03. Okay, so let us do that. So how to do that? Go to subnets, click on my subnet 02. Okay, go inside. Okay, and check it is using the same routing table. So go to your new routing table which you created, my private routing table. Okay, select it, and after the routes there is something known as subnet association. Okay, so select that. So as you can see, no subnet association, so you need to explicitly associate a subnet. So edit subnet association, select my subnet 02 and save association. That's it. Now if you go back to the subnets and check my route table, now it is following the my private route table. Now what I have made, now go back to the diagram here. Now I have made this public. So as I have made this public, I am going to rename it. I mean, I have highlighted in red color. So blue indicates public and red indicates private. So you will see, I mean, often this kind of diagram in the infrastructure diagram. I am going to show it to you in few minutes. Okay. So now the next option. Okay. So let both be my subnet 01 and 02 be public. So how again I can change back? Very simple. So go back to this, go back to the route table and go to the main route table and create subnet association, edit and select both. Okay, and now as you can see, again go to the route table, select my private under subnet association, and now you can see it was removed. Now again my subnet 02 is also public. Now my third requirement, I'm going to create third subnet and I will make it as a private one. Okay. Yes. So let us do that. So go to AWS Management Console, go to the subnets. Now check what is the subnets to range. Okay. So I have all, so but now I have already created, what do you see here? So 2043 that is gone. So I have already created 4096 IP address. I have already reached the limit, isn't it? Yes or no? See, I have used the 20. So what is 2 power 12? 2 power 12 is 4096, correct? So you can cross verify here. 2 to the power 4096. So I have already reached. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to edit the, so go to your VPC, go to actions. So edit CIDR range. Okay. So I will add another range here. Okay. So this is another option. So I'm going to add, so I have already used this, so I cannot add. So I'm going to add new VPC. So now I'm going to add 10 dot and I'm going to change the second octet. It is going to be constant, right? So I'm going to use 10 dot 100 dot 0 dot 0 slash 20. Getting the point? So this is the second. Both are different network. Because see, I have already used this, so I cannot use the same range. So that is the reason, in order to distinguish between these two, I have added the second one. So 10.100 0.0. Clear? So I have associated already and close. Okay. Now I am going to subnets and I'm going to create subnet. Select a VPC. Okay. And as you can see, both the CIDR is appearing. I cannot use this. I need to use the second one. So my first one will be, I'm going to use my subnet 03. I'm going to use it 1A only. Okay. And I'm going to use this. And I'm going to use slash 21. Okay. So create subnet. Clear? Now again you see what is happening here. It is using the, which routing table it uses. So ADAA. Okay. So as you can see, the automatically the routes are populated. So only now within your VPC. So like this you can grow your VPCs. You can grow. It is no restriction that, oh, I have used 409, now what to do. There is no restriction. You can keep on adding the CIDR like this. And you can also distinguish. Okay, this is 10.0.0.0 and this one is 10.100.0.0. So there is a difference. Now you will see a subnets and I'm going to go to the routing tables and I'll go inside and subnet association and edit subnet association and I'm going to select subnet 3 and save association, right? And if you go back to the subnet again, if you see, now it is following the routing table which has two routes. Why two routes? Because my VPC has two CIDR ranges now, so that is the reason. But as you can see in the target, you can identify that it is only for local in the sense within the VPC. Now if I had to explain this pictorially, what I have done is, just I have, just a second. So I have create one more subnet. Okay, I created one more subnet. Okay, so let me just shift it here. Yes, I create one more subnet. I named the subnet as subnet. Okay, subnet 3, right? And right, and I made it private. How? I told this subnet to follow only this routing table. Okay, now our VPC has two CIDR ranges. Okay, clear? So this is how you can. So that is why the cloud computing is very powerful. There is no, as such restrictions. You can, keep it is very elastic. You can expand as the way you want. There is no restriction for you. Clear? Yes or no? So you can test this. You can create an instance inside this subnet, whether Windows or Linux, and you can test. But you will not be able to log into this. Okay. But then how we are going to log in? How we are going to log in then? So first we have public subnets, and public subnets we have instance. So first we will connect from our laptop to this instance which is in public subnet, and this, as per this routing table, the private subnets can be connected via local network, right? So once I am inside this server, I can definitely log into this subnet using private IP addresses. So that is what I am going to do today. So what I am going to do, I am going to create one more server in the subnet 03. It will have same thing. It will have NACL everything. It will have the same key pair lock. Everything will have. So first what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to connect to this directly using private IP, but I will not be successful because we cannot connect. Even though this have a public IP, I will not be able to connect because this does not have a route to the internet gateway. So the only option is first connect to this subnet or the instance which is inside this public subnet and connect to this. So this is what I'm going to do now. Okay, so let us go to the management console and go to EC2 instances section. I'm going to create one more instance. Say, give it a name as private instance because I'm going to create this in a private subnet, right? So then select T2 micro, which is free tier, and key pair, select the same thing. Network settings, edit. Subnet, you can select which one? First select the VPC, okay? So network settings, first select your my VPC and select the my subnet 03, and I will show you, I will enable this public IP purposefully. You should not allow public IP to the private instance. I mean the instance which we are going to be in the private subnet. We should not enable, but even if you enable, it will not be able to connect. I will show it to you. Okay, then you can create new security group. Okay, so name it as private dash security group, and you can copy paste the same thing. Okay, and to the VPC you can name it as anywhere for now. Okay, and launch. Now go inside the, let us check the instance, and again this one has also a IP address. Now let us try to connect. Okay, so let me exit. Okay, so now I'm going to, now I have changed the IP address. As you can see, this is ending with 147 and 213, but this is ending with 208.76, which this is private. So I am trying to connect now. See, but I will not be able to connect. You can try it n number you want. You can try. See, connection, it will be timed out. That is because if you go to this networking, it is following the my subnet 03, and my subnet 03 is a having the this public IP. It is of no use because it is waste, because if you want to connect from outside, or if you want to connect to the internet, it should have a internet gateway, which it does not now. Then how you want to log in here? So to log in here, you need to do two things. First, even this is having a key pair, right? As you can see, this one also has a key pair here. That is OCA-SG. That is the key pair name. So first, if you remember carefully, I had downloaded one key pair when I created this instance, right? I have used the same key pair now to create this instance also. So I am using this key pair, but I am not able to log in. That is because this is not exposed to the internet. So first what you have to do, first you need to copy this key pair from this to this server which is in your public subnet. That is the first step. You getting the point? Is it not? You need a key, right? So key is in your laptop. So you need to copy that key to your instance which is in the subnet 1 or public subnet. That is the first step. The second step is you are going to change some permission of this file. Okay, and then from here you can connect to this machine. Okay, so let us do the first step. Copy this to this machine. So let us go to the git bash and use the command scp -a. Okay, this is the command, and then what you have to copy, you have to copy the file. Okay, then where you want to copy, you want to copy to the this machine. This is the public instance, right? So ec2-user @ then where you want to copy, in the /home/ec2-user. So this is the common home directory for all the ec2-user. So they here you have to copy. Okay, and just hit enter. So if you get this output, it means it has copied. Okay, now log into this. So log in now. Now you will see there is a key. See, if you do ls is the command to list the files inside the Linux server. Okay, so I will write, so ls list files. So as you can see this file. Now ls-l to check permission of the file. So ls-l enter. As you can see, the file belongs to ec2-user, ec2-user, and the permissions are this. Okay, so that is I want to change it, change the permission. So chmod 600, that's it, and pass the key name, that's it. Now if you type ls-l, you see only read and write for the owner. So only the owner of the file will be able to see it. Okay. So in order to understand more of the Linux, I'm going to share one more link with you guys today, so you can go through to understand more of more of Linux administration also. Okay, I'm going to share the link today. Right. So once you are done, then you can easily SSH-i. You can use the same keeper. You can use the ec2-user at the rate, but you don't require a public IP. Okay, so just select the private IP here and just hit enter. So you are connected. Clear? Is the concept clear, guys? So coming back to our diagram, what I did now, first I copied the key pair from my desktop to the subnet 1 instance and I changed the permission. Then using this key from here I have logged in to this machine using the private IP. Because local connection subnet, we the instances or resources inside the subnet can interact. Okay, so guys, every organization uses this concept. So this concept is known as what? This concept is known as, let me write here, Bastion host. What is this? Bastion host. Now this server or this host became a bastion, meaning, or you can, someone calls it as a jump server also. Jump server. Because you are jumping to this server from this server, right? First you will connect to this and you will connect to this. Yes or no? Yes. So this phenomena is known as, and this is a very important concept, and you should know, every cloud engineer or a DevOps engineer should know the concept of Bastion host. Every organization uses this concept. Okay, so this is the concept of Bastion host, and some organization calls it as a jump server or jump box. Jump server or jump box, both are same. Okay, but this jump box can be either Linux flavor or a Windows flavor. It depends on your project to project. But we as a cloud engineer should understand both the concepts. Clear? Any doubts? So this is the, okay, let me give you some links how Bastion works. Yes, anybody having doubts? Guys, any doubts?
No, Mithun.
Okay, so you can follow this. Okay, so I'm going to give this assignment to you, right? So as I told you, right, this is what we are going to achieve. Okay, so as you can see, we have AWS cloud. So this is your account, and there will be one VPC, and this VPC will have two subnets spanned across availability zone, that is AZ1 and AZ2, or two data centers. Yes, and there is a, okay, I have not yet covered NAT gateway, so don't worry about it. So Bastion host, this is the Bastion host. So using this Bastion host, you can connect to the private subnet instance. Okay, so you can do it now. I'll give you the link. Okay, now fine, I have logged in here, but now I'll try to ping google.com. So will I be able to connect? Yes or no? I am here. I am in the private instance now. So will I be able to connect? No, because this does not have a connectivity. So if from outside to inside also it's not there, and from inside to outside also it is not there. So it will fail because it will send the request to the router, and the router says only local. So it says, boss, please stay local. That's it. It will not allow you to go inside. That's it. It will simply trying to ping, and it will waste, isn't it?
Yes, Smith, but
Right?
what is the use of having a private?
Yes. The use is, we cannot. There will be requirement for us to protect the resources, and so that if you see, if you expose the servers or applications to the outside internet directly, then the hackers may hack into the system and they may inject the malware. So that is the reason in private subnets we keep our databases, okay, and we keep our critical application servers and other things, okay. So the external clients can connect to this instance via another ways, so which we are going to discuss later in the EC2 module, but not now, okay. But for now you
Okay,
can think, that it is a way to restrict access to the outsiders. You're getting the point. So your
yes, Smith.
resources will be protected. So if you want a connectivity to this machine, you can always connect to this via this machine, isn't it?
Okay,
So there are other methods. So you may ask me, oh, then what is the use? Then what is the benefit? So there are other methods. So there is something called as load balancers, which are exposed to the internet, and they will first receive the traffic, and then they will send the traffic to these applications servers, which are in the private subnet. Because once inside your VPC, they can talk to these resources, even they are in public or private. So that is the concept. Clear now?
yes, Smith.
Okay. So now, as you can see, this does not have a outside connectivity because this is following this routing table, and this routing table does not have a route to the internet. Then what we can do? Even we need some kind of a network connectivity. Okay, we need, because you may need to download some of the security patches, download some of the latest upgraded version, isn't it? It's not that only for connectivity. If you want to connect to this instance, no, not like that. There will be some operations which you want. For that you need a for example, if you want to download some code from your repository, for that you need a internet connection. Then how we are going to achieve that? But there is also a restriction that we cannot expose, but we cannot expose this to the internet directly. So what we can do? So to answer this question, there is something known as a NAT gateway. NAT gateway is the concept. So NAT gateway is that component, and NAT is abbreviation for network address translation. You can create this NAT gateway either in subnet 1 or subnet 2, because subnet 1 and subnet 2 both are in the public subnet, and they are exposed to the internet, right? Isn't it? So first you are going
Yes,
to create the NAT gateway. Okay, so let me name it here. Okay, So let me write here. So I'm going to name it as NAT. Yes. So this is a NAT, network address translation. Clear? Now, as this NAT gateway is created in the public subnet, and this public subnet is having the route to the internet gateway, and this NAT gateway will be allotted its own public IP. Please note this point. Public IP. It will have its own public IP. Okay, clear? Now, next thing what you have to do, just in the private routing table, we need to tell the routing table that for any internet connectivity needs, just contact the NAT gateway. That's it. Very simple. So once you add this entry, what it will do, whenever you need internet connectivity, this will contact the NAT. Okay, like this. So NAT add, what it will do, it will mask its private IP. So as this NAT gateway can connect to the internet via this internet gateway. You're getting the clarity? So this will contact the router. I mean, this will go to the router, will know, oh, for first it will send to the router. Router will say need to connect to the NAT gateway, and NAT gateway will connect to the internet gateway for the internet connectivity. So this is how the problem is resolved. So in this way, our server is also safe. We are getting the internet connectivity, but this is not free. So this service is not free. It is chargeable. Okay. So only internet gateway, until internet gateway whatever I have created is free. But what I am going to create now, it is not free. It is chargeable. It is not free of cost. Okay. Isn't it? But in organization, we use this solution to solve the problem, to get the internet connectivity to the private instance. Clear? Yes or no? So this public IP, so you create 100 machines inside this subnet. All this machine will connect to the internet using this public IP only. You getting the point? Yes or no?
Yes, Mithun. Yes, Mithun.
So I'm going to give you this deployment guide. I'm going to show you Bastion host. So I have provided the link also. So I will show you how you can create the NAT gateway. So go to the subnets and VPC section. You will find the NAT gateway here. So as you can see, I have not created NAT gateway because we don't require. Okay, but I will show you how you can create. Okay. So create NAT gateway, give a name, select subnet. So remember, you have to create NAT gateway in the public subnet. Don't create a mistake of creating it in the my subnet 03. If you create it, it is of no use. Okay, so create it in my subnet 02 as shown in the diagram. So connectivity public. So it requires an elastic IP, that is public IP, right? So you can first you have to select here allocate elastic IP and create a NAT gateway. Okay, so I'm going to allocate, right? See, and then create a NAT gateway. That's it. Now the last step, what you have to do, go to the route tables, go to the my private route table, edit routes, and say add route. For any internet connectivity, please contact the NAT gateway. So NAT gateway. That's it. Now if I just hit enter, just a second, it will take some time. Okay, we'll wait. Okay, because it is still in a pending state. Okay, as you can see, sometimes it will be very quick, but sometimes it will the pending state. So this should be changed to active, only then you can connect. So we'll wait it to change the state. Yes, now it is active. So now you try this. See, you got it right. Earlier it was packet loss. Now it is responding. See, so this is how you should, as a AWS cloud engineer and DevOps engineer, you should know all these concepts. Okay. Then next, and guys, this is very expensive. So once you are done with the testing, please go to your routing table first and delete the entry and delete this NAT gateway. So go to route table, actions, edit routes, and remove this and save changes. And now if you see here, you will not be able to connect. See, earlier we were able to connect, now it is not, because you have removed the entry. Then next, what you have to do, you have to go here and go to actions and delete NAT gateway and click on delete. So once you delete, no, you have to release this elastic IP address. Okay, elastic IP is nothing but a permanent IP which AWS provides to our resources. So where you can find this under DHCP option sets, elastic IP. Okay, so you need to release it. You have to release it. Okay, once the NAT gateway is deleted, okay, so it is still in the deleting state. So after deleted, you have to release it. Okay, and once, and please make sure you are terminating the instance. Okay, so click on all the instance and delete this instance as well. So because once you are done with the testing, so there is no use of keeping the instance on forever. Okay, clear? So as you can see, both the connection have closed. Clear? Yes. Now let me check whether it is deleted. Yes, deleted. And go to the elastic IP and release, because if you don't release, right, so it will be billed to you. So release, that's it. So your task will be completed. Okay, now, so yeah, so the assignment for you is this one. You have to follow along, use the AWS documentation. You have to create this, because we already done this. You now know what is a public subnet, what is a private subnet, what are availability zones, what is a VPC, private subnets. Then forget, so only concentrate on these things. Don't worry about CloudWatch, System Manager, and Auto Scaling Group. You leave that as it is. Okay, so in this solution, you are going to a highly available architecture that spans two availability zones, a VPC configured with public and private subnets according to AWS best practices to provide you with your own virtual network. Okay, and in the public subnets, manage network address translation network NAT gateways to allow outbound internet access to for resources in private subnets. So NAT gateway only provide outbound connection to download anything, not from, you cannot connect to the private subnet instance using the NAT gateway. No, it's not possible. Okay, so you can use this, or else I'll give you one more assignments. Wait a minute. So you have to complete. Yeah, this one. Okay, so this is one thing I will share with you guys. So copy. So please complete it today or tomorrow. So this is the VPC project one you have to do, and then this is another you have to follow. Okay, step by step procedure I have given, so you have to follow this. Okay, and next after this we are going to start with the, so now this is a story of every VPC. Okay, so if you take any VPC, this is these components, these are the minimum components which which are going to be there with you. Okay, so next we are going to proceed further. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to discuss with some more concepts like NACL, then how you can control the traffic, okay, using NACL, that is this firewall and this security groups. And then after that we are going to concentrate on VPC peering, like when we have multiple VPC. See, in organization there won't be only one VPC, right? There will be like minimum 3 4 5 6 VPC, like that. So how, and there will be VPC in different regions, so how you're going to interact with those VPC. So thus, so that we are going to cover. Okay, so any doubts so far?
No, Mithun, all good.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, so I'm going to pause the recording.